Hi, my name is Tim Garcia. I'm actually the president and CEO of Apptricity Corporation. Today we're going to be talking about total asset intelligence, specifically as it relates to our comprehensive solution in the supply chain execution market space. So today's agenda really is basically, thank you once again for coming. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the problem with manual tracking, asset tracking deep dive we'll go into, as well as talk about fleet management, inventory control. And then at the end of this, we can basically have a Q&A session if there's any questions. So let's kind of talk about the all aspects of manual tracking, kind of the issues that people deal with. 23% of all assets are unaccounted for at any given time in manual systems. What does that mean? People have to walk around and look for assets. They can't find them, and then they basically go missing. You look at it from that perspective that it's a very, very labor-intensive process. $1.1 trillion are basically lost each year due to inventory inaccuracies and shrinkage. So specifically with manual systems, you have huge use cases that basically require a more comprehensive solution. And at the end of the day, 40% of fleet managers report compliance failures from poor record keeping. What does that mean? That could be maintenance records, could be driver behavior, it could be specifically any type of miscommunication as it relates to route optimization. So these areas basically are common pain points which we see. Specifically, most of this is done on spreadsheets as well as paper logs that are always kept out of date. There's really no real-time visibility, so at any given time, you really don't know where your assets or vehicles are located. And then when doing manual cycle counts, it really disrupts operations and introduces errors by specifically people count and don't always accurately count manually what specific inventories they have. At the end of the day, compliance risks from incomplete maintenance and audit records can lead actually to specific lawsuits, also specific injuries with not having your vehicles in compliance, as well as basically not making sure your drivers are driving the proper way. So that's some of the things we talk about. That's kind of some of the things we deal with on a day-to-day basis at Apptricity Corporation. Let's talk about asset tracking, how we actually handle the asset tracking capabilities. So there's several different types of ways you can actually track an asset. Specifically, what we do is we offer real-time GPS tracking. That can be done through Bluetooth. That can be done through LTE tracking. That can be done through satellite tracking. That also can be done through ODB2 tracking that goes into vehicles. So that's one aspect of what we utilize for asset active tracking. The second method is basically passive tracking. This is basically what most people see on a day-to-day basis. If you go into a checkout at a grocery store, you have barcode scanning. The other is RFID scanning, which is a little bit more comprehensive. The main difference between barcode scanning and RFID scanning is that with the barcode, you have to specifically line up your scanner within 2 to 3 inches of where that barcode is. With RFID scanning, what you have is the capability that anything with an RFID tag on it, and you hit the RFID scanner, it's going to basically scan all those items at one time. So what you're actually getting is you're getting a 90% improvement in audit count with RFID. And then also you have a 90% savings in labor. So if you're doing monthly audits, if you're doing daily audits, really what it does is it cuts down your labor costs significantly, up to 90%. The mobile apps basically give you another level of granularity, where with the check-in, check-out application, now you know who has what assets, what inventory was assigned to an individual, what inventory potentially was assigned to a store, a hospital, department, anything you need basically that tracking, the capability within the mobile app allows you that capability. You have a cloud dashboard. We call this daily business intelligence. What information do I want to see on a daily basis? Okay, so you have that. It's highly configurable and centralized. You can see by it, at the corporate level, at the department level, at the division level, any level of dexterity that you want from that perspective, you have that capability. Other thing you get, specifically any items from an asset standpoint that require a maintenance schedule, you have that capability built into the solution. Our work order management basically allows you to basically schedule when maintenance needs to be done. The example I always use, every 90 days you need to change your car oil, okay? So with that basic capability, whether it's you're changing your oil in your car, or basically you have to recalibrate an IV pump, you have the ability to do preventative maintenance and predictive maintenance. So those are the things that we offer at any given point in time. It's going to allow you to specifically look at your work order records and actually tell you what specific asset or inventory you need to be able to track. Lastly, basically utilization reports. This is significant because this is a huge ROI savings. A lot of times people have X number of assets, but they're only using 20% of those. This could be vehicles. You might have a fleet of vehicles, but on a day-to-day basis, only 20% is basically being utilized. The rest are basically sitting in the carpool area. So with that capability, what you're getting once again is full-time visibility throughout all of your assets and inventory. So let's go ahead and look at fleet management. What's the main feature sets? Now, these main feature sets we're talking about right now are totally based off of which ones you want to utilize. So all these are available. The roles and permissions will really dictate who gets to see what information. At the simplest level, route optimization. At any given point in time, if you have route optimization, number one thing with route optimization is going to say fuel cost, okay? So that's a key area. So if you look at it from a preventive maintenance standpoint, hey, what vehicles need to be in the shop? When do they need to be taken care of? When are they going back out to the fleet? Okay, so the more information you have from a preventative maintenance standpoint, the better chance you have in being able to utilize all your assets on a day-to-day basis. Driver behavior. This really comes into effect for two reasons: insurance purposes, as well as basically you analyzing what drivers are basically within the bounds of what your company expects from them. Third, DOT compliance. This really relates back to the preventative maintenance, but also it can relate to individuals that are driving 18-wheelers. What specific requirements do they have to be in compliance to be able to drive those vehicles? Lastly, fuel management. This kind of correlates back into the route optimization, but with fuel management, it really is going to give you true information on how that vehicle is being used. Is it being used personally? Is it being used more from a commercial standpoint? But at the end of the day do you really know where your fleet is on a 24-hour basis, okay? And how often do you want to know where that fleet is located at? The other difference that we basically provide is not only are we tracking at the fleet level, we can track everything within that vehicle, within that truck. What merchandise is he pushing? What inventory is he pushing? So that's kind of the key areas that we see. If you look at it from an ROI standpoint, it's significant. 20% cost reduction in fuel, 35% fewer breakdowns with your vehicle, and your 18% basically faster delivery when you do have to basically, from a logistics standpoint, push product, push inventory, push assets to a location. And then basically, with our capability on the preventative maintenance standpoint, you're not 99% from a standpoint of you never having to deal with specific issues covered. So let's go on to the next subject, inventory control. Specifically, what's unique about us? Hey, automated cycle counts. Never have to worry about anyone having to manually count anything. So if you want to use active tracking, you actually set how often you want to track that inventory. Specifically, it could be real time. So that automated capability is going to take out significant labor costs and basically being able to inventory all your items real time or near real time. Reorder triggers. We call that threshold allowances. Hey, when my inventory or assets get below a certain level, I want to automatically send out an alert and basically issue a purchase rec or an email to someone saying we need to reorder this product, we need to order this inventory. And this basically gives you that capability where you never get to an out of stock condition. Next area is multiple location visibility. What does that mean? Hey, I might have 500 items at one store and I only have 5 at another store. Hey, why don't I just move 250 of those items to the other store instead of going to the warehouse and restock it? So with multiple location visibility at any given point in time, whether you're a retail store or multiple stores, you're having the ability to see what you have across each location. Each physical site could be different warehouses, could be different stores, it could be inventory rooms, but you do have that capability to get full visibility based off of what you have at each site. Audit trails and compliance. This really goes in from a standpoint of more when you do an allocation, when you do a move, a transfer, or any type of adjustments at your different sites. It's going to give you full visibility. It's going to give you a full log of basically what was done, where it was moved to, how it was allocated, who allocated it, and what location was given that allocation. Next area is barcode and RFID integration. At any given point in time, our solution. So if you already have an RFID or barcode solution, we can ingest that information into our system and give you a lot more visibility based off of our capabilities on the IoT active tracking side as well. We do also offer equipment that basically allows you to automate your RFID capability with real-time scanning as well. Lastly, ERP and WMS integration. This is huge. We have a built-in integration engine that specifically allows you to tie into any third-party data source. It could be EDI data, it could be ERP data, purchasing data, any information you want to basically push or pull out of our system, you have that full visibility to be able to do that. At the end of the day, what you want is that real-time visibility of where your assets and inventory are located at. So let's go ahead and take a look at ROI across all the industries. If you look at government, what we're typically seeing is a 43% cost reduction in lost assets. Not only just not only 43% in lost assets, but basically the productivity you get by having systems that now you can actually audit in such a manner that you don't have to basically spend months, years being able to track where your item is located. Construction, 28% lower equipment costs. Really what that comes down to is now that you have that on-site real-time visibility, you know exactly where your items are, your equipment's located at, your yellow iron's located at, where you don't have to go out and rent or basically send a team of people looking for equipment for you. Healthcare, 99.9% inventory accuracy. This is dramatic based off of how most healthcare hospital systems work. That capability to know exactly what you have, where it's located at. One of the stats that we got is basically 40% of a nurse or technician's time is actually spent looking for medical equipment. That goes away completely, almost completely. Utilities, once again, 35% fewer vehicle incidents. Really what that means is basically whether it's GPS locating, maintenance, driver behavior, all that stuff, you're basically dropping down your vehicle incidents. By the way, with that capability, your insurance costs will go down as well. Lastly, if you look at manufacturing, 60% faster ways to do audits, okay? And within manufacturing, some of the key things is making sure you do have that inventory available. So if a line does break down, you don't have a bunch of individuals basically standing there waiting for it to get fixed. So the key thing here, what you're being able to do is if you have all these capabilities throughout the IoT lifeline, barcode, RFID, Bluetooth, LTE, satellite, as well as ODB2, you have full visibility throughout your whole organization, your whole company, whatever it is, you have that full visibility. You're not limited to what type of technology you want to use for tracking. We offer it all, so you don't have to log into multiple systems to try to get the information. It's a one-stop shop for us, but we do give you that full visibility that you need. So let's go ahead and take a look at our platform. Probably the key thing is we are what you call a unified platform. For the technicians out there, that's a composite application, okay? So what does that mean? You have an asset tracking module, you have a fleet management module, there's a maintenance management, field services, we call that. You have a compliance engine, you have an inventory management solution, and then you have an analytics capability. All that is basically in one single source. You dictate through roles and permission who gets access to each one of these modules. The other thing, we have an integration engine. That integration engine allows you, like I said earlier, to tie into any third-party data source, whether that's SAP, Oracle, QuickBooks, Salesforce, ServiceNow, ArcGIS, you name NetSuite, N4, Epicor, you name it, we have that capability to drive into every one of those systems. You can push and pull data as often as you want to. It could be real-time, near real-time, or basically batch. Totally up to you. But that capability allows you to own your data and allows you to export that data anywhere you want to. So what are some of the questions we typically get? How long does an implementation take? Typically, depending on the size and how many integration points in the third-party applications, it's typically a 30 to 90-day process. Predominantly, within that process, you're going to have a full stand-up system that allows you immediately to start tracking real time. Is the platform cloud-based? Yes, it is. For the individuals on the commercial side, it's SOC 2. Specifically on the military or federal side or government side, we offer FedRAMP High, FedRAMP Moderate. We also, for the people who are from Texas, we have TexRAMP. But the whole capability there is it's a single platform, single tenant computing. What does that mean? You're the only one utilizing it. We don't do multi-tenant, we do single tenant. And this is basically you controlling your own data, you controlling your own modifications to our application, you can controlling your own configuration and roles and permissions with our application. How is pricing structured? Strictly user-based. We don't charge about how many assets you have. It's strictly who needs access to that system. Third, do we need new hardware? That's totally up to you. The hardware that we currently support, we support all the different IoT tracking devices, like I stated earlier, barcode, RFID, Bluetooth, LTE, satellite, but all those, we can actually offer you those solutions, but if you already have them, we can go ahead and integrate with what you currently have. Can it work with our ERP system? Absolutely. The integration engine gives you that full capability with our built-in connectors. We have connectors for, like I stated earlier, SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft, Epicor, Lawson, NetSuite, Dynamics, you name it. We actually have all connectors pre-built already for us to be able to pull and push data into any third-party solution through our API integration engine. What support is included? We offer standard 7:30 to 6:30 support with the system. That's free. If you want 7 by 24-hour support, you will have there will be a cost for that. But the key thing here also where we differentiate is when we go through a project, you are assigned a dedicated technical support specialist. You don't call into a call center. These tech support specialists are actually part of the project team or that project implementation team. So these are the kind of the key questions we typically get. If there are any questions, just feel free to ask and we'll be able to help you with that. So let's talk about next steps. First one is basically, are you ready to transform your operation? One of the things we do is we provide live demos. We don't do scripted demos. Basically, one of the things we do ask is also if you want to see a live demo, give us your data. We'll show you your data in our system. Do we want to go ahead and look at more from an assessment standpoint? Hey, capabilities call regarding how we can basically quickly integrate into your system. We can go ahead and approach that. Lastly, hey, do you want to talk to an expert on a discovery call? One of the key things we'll also differentiate in is once we do that demonstration, we will actually go out to your site and do an assessment of what best tag technology you need in order for you to basically get to your goals that you're looking to basically exceed. So with all those capabilities, once again, please feel free to call us. Let us know how we can help you. Thank you very much for your time today.